California Real Estate Exam Practice Questions. Question 1. A newly licensed salesperson wants to run advertisements without naming a broker. How should that plan be evaluated for Olivia in Fresno? Option A. The salesperson may advertise alone if the price is under $185,000. Option B. Broker identity is needed only for commercial property. Option C. A phone number is enough if the salesperson uses a nickname. Option D. Advertising must properly identify the responsible broker as required by law. The correct answer is option D. Advertising must properly identify the responsible broker as required by law. California advertising rules require proper license and responsible broker identification in many real estate ads. A transaction price threshold does not remove identification requirements. The rule is not limited to commercial property. A phone number or nickname does not provide the required license disclosure. Question 2. During a listing for a farm parcel in Anaheim, why must the broker put the seller's interests ahead of the broker's personal gain for Jonas in Anaheim? Option A. Loyalty is a fiduciary duty owed to the principal. Option B. Escrow instructions replace fiduciary duties. Option C. The buyer becomes the broker's principal automatically. Option D. Caveat emptor eliminates agency duties. The correct answer is option A. Loyalty is a fiduciary duty owed to the principal. Loyalty requires an agent to place the principal's interests above the agent's competing interests. Escrow instructions do not replace the agency relationship. The buyer does not become the listing broker's principal merely by making an offer. Caveat emptor does not erase fiduciary obligations. Question 3. A licensee is buying a residential rental personally from Eva. What disclosure issue is most important? Option A. A personal purchase cancels all disclosure duties. Option B. The licensee must disclose the license status and personal interest when required. Option C. The licensee may conceal the license if no commission is charged. Option D. The transaction must be conducted only by auction. The correct answer is option B. The licensee must disclose the license status and personal interest when required. A licensee acting as a principal may need to disclose license status and personal interest to avoid misleading the other party. Personal involvement increases rather than eliminates the need for clear disclosure. Charging no commission does not automatically remove disclosure obligations. An auction is not required merely because a licensee buys property. Stressed about your California real estate exam? We can take California real estate exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. A tenant with a disability requests a reasonable accommodation for a service animal. How should a property manager evaluate it for Tarek in San Diego? Option A. Reject it because all animals are legally pets. Option B. Approve it only if every other tenant votes yes. Option C. Consider the request under fair housing accommodation rules. Option D. Charge any pet fee without reviewing the request. The correct answer is option C. Consider the request under fair housing accommodation rules. Fair housing rules may require reasonable accommodations for disability-related needs, including assistance animals. An assistance animal is not treated the same as an ordinary pet for all purposes. Tenant voting does not determine fair housing compliance. Automatic pet fees can violate accommodation principles if applied without proper review. Question 5. A listing agreement gives one broker the right to a commission no matter who produces the buyer. Which listing type is this for Andre in Bakersfield? Option A. Net lease. Option B. Quitclaim listing. Option C. Open listing. Option D. Exclusive right to sell listing. The correct answer is option D. Exclusive right to sell listing. An exclusive right to sell listing gives the broker commission rights if the property sells during the listing term under the agreement. A net lease is a rental arrangement, not a brokerage listing type. A quitclaim deed transfers possible title interests and is not a listing agreement. An open listing allows multiple brokers and usually rewards only the procuring broker. Question 6. How is community property generally relevant when spouses acquire California real estate during marriage for Lena in Santa Barbara? Option A. It may create marital ownership rights depending on source of funds and title facts. Option B. It eliminates the need for escrow instructions. Option C. It always belongs only to the spouse who signed the offer. Option D. It converts the property into federal land. The correct answer is option A. It may create marital ownership rights depending on source of funds and title facts. California community property rules can affect ownership interests when spouses acquire property during marriage. Escrow instructions are still needed to close and document the transaction. Signature on an offer alone does not settle marital property rights. Community property does not turn private land into federal land. Question 7. A seller wants to transfer title with implied California covenants that the property was not previously conveyed by the grantor. Which deed is most associated with that promise for Miguel in Oakland? Option A. Quitclaim deed. Option B. Grant deed. Option C. Lease agreement. Option D. Reconveyance deed. The correct answer is option B. Grant deed. A California grant deed includes certain implied covenants, including that the grantor has not previously conveyed the same estate. A quitclaim deed transfers whatever interest the grantor may have without the same implied covenants. A lease gives possession rather than title ownership. A reconveyance releases a deed of trust after debt satisfaction. Question 8. Why are priorations used at closing for items such as taxes or rent for Sophia in Santa Rosa? Option A. They determine whether the deed is valid. Option B. They convert a fixed minus rate loan to an adjustable loan. Option C. They allocate expenses or income between buyer and seller as of the closing date. Option D. They remove the need for title insurance. The correct answer is option C. They allocate expenses or income between buyer and seller as of the closing date. Priorations fairly divide recurring expenses or income based on the parties' periods of ownership. A deed's validity depends on deed requirements rather than prioration math. Loan type is set by the financing documents. Title insurance addresses title risk, not expense allocation. Are you looking for California real estate exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access California real estate exam study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get California real estate exam answer key today. Question 9. Why does a borrower review APR in a residential loan disclosure for Owen in Palm Springs? Option A. APR records the deed automatically. Option B. APR is the same as property tax assessment. Option C. APR guarantees the home will appreciate. Option D. APR reflects the cost of credit as an annual rate including certain finance charges. The correct answer is option D. APR reflects the cost of credit as an annual rate including certain finance charges. APR helps borrowers compare credit costs by expressing certain loan charges as an annualized rate. Recording is handled through county records rather than APR. Property tax assessment is a separate public finance issue. Credit disclosures do not guarantee appreciation. Question 10. How should trust fund records be treated in a brokerage handling multiple deposits for Grace in San Jose? Option A. They should clearly identify receipts, disbursements, balances, and parties entitled to the funds. Option B. They may be recreated from memory after a dispute. Option C. They are unnecessary if escrow eventually closes. Option D. They can be replaced by social media messages. The correct answer is option A. They should clearly identify receipts, disbursements, balances, and parties entitled to the funds. Trust fund records should accurately track money held for others and support accountability. Memory is not a reliable record-keeping system. Closing escrow does not erase prior accounting obligations. Social media messages do not substitute for formal trust fund records. Question 11. Why should a broker avoid saying no defects when the broker has not verified all conditions for Malik in Stockton? Option A. Only appraisers can speak in complete sentences. Option B. Overstating condition can mislead buyers and create disclosure risk. Option C. The phrase automatically transfers title Option D, brokers may never discuss property condition at all. The correct answer is option B. Overstating condition can mislead buyers and create disclosure risk. A licensee should be careful not to make unsupported statements about property condition. Appraisers do not have exclusive authority over all property descriptions. Words about condition do not transfer title. Brokers can discuss known facts while avoiding misrepresentation. Question 12. A farm parcel has several recent comparable sales nearby. Which valuation approach is most likely emphasized for Elena and Ventura? Option A, subdivision public report method. Option B, cost approach only. Option C, sales comparison approach. Option D, income approach only. The correct answer is option C, sales comparison approach. The sales comparison approach relies on comparable sales and is often emphasized for residential property. A public report is a subdivision disclosure process, not a valuation approach. The cost approach estimates land value plus replacement or reproduction cost minus depreciation. The income approach focuses on income minus producing property. Question 13. How many square feet are in 1 acre or acres of land for Carlos in Riverside? Option A, acres multiplied by 5,280 square feet. Option B, acres divided by 12 monthly payments. Option C, acres multiplied by the interest rate. Option D, acres multiplied by 43,560 square feet. The correct answer is option D, acres multiplied by 43,560 square feet. 1 acre contains 43,560 square feet, so acreage is converted by multiplying by that number. 5,280 measures feet in a mile, not square feet in an acre. Monthly payments are unrelated to land area. Interest rates do not convert acreage. Question 14. A tenant transfers the entire remaining lease term to another person. What is that transfer usually called for Diego in Pasadena? Option A, assignment. Option B, accretion. Option C, quiet title. Option D, substitution of trustee. The correct answer is option A, assignment. An assignment typically transfers the tenant's entire remaining leasehold interest to another party. Accretion is gradual land buildup by natural forces. Quiet title is a court action to resolve title claims. Substitution of trustee relates to deeds of trust. Question 15. How can CC&RS affect a planned development home for Layla in Los Angeles? Option A, they set the federal funds rate. Option B, they create private restrictions on property use within the community. Option C, they replace all state fair housing laws. Option D, they guarantee the home has no defects. The correct answer is option B, they create private restrictions on property use within the community. Covenants, conditions, and restrictions are private controls that may limit use, improvements, or community obligations. Federal interest minus rate policy is unrelated to CC&RS. Private rules cannot override fair housing law. CC&RS do not guarantee physical condition. Question 16. Why should a licensee avoid giving technical cleanup advice for contaminated soil for Nate in Long Beach? Option A, licensees are always licensed engineers. Option B, cleanup advice is never important to buyers. Option C, environmental remediation requires qualified expertise beyond ordinary brokerage practice. Option D, soil contamination is only a tax issue. The correct answer is option C. Environmental remediation requires qualified expertise beyond ordinary brokerage practice. A real estate license does not make someone an environmental engineer or remediation expert. Licensees are not automatically engineers. Cleanup issues can be very important to buyers and lenders. Contamination may involve health, legal, lending, and value concerns beyond taxes. Question 17. What does an ad valorem property tax primarily depend on for Anika in Chula Vista? Option A, color of the roof. Option B, broker commission split. Option C, the number of open houses held. Option D, the assessed value of the property. The correct answer is option D, assessed value of the property. Ad valorem taxes are based on assessed value rather than marketing activity or cosmetic choices. Roof color does not determine tax value by itself. Commission splits are private brokerage matters. Open houses do not set property tax basis. Question 18. A team advertisement omits the responsible broker identity. What compliance risk does this raise for Miles in Sacramento? Option A. The ad may fail required brokerage identification standards. Option B. The buyer receives a tax exemption. Option C. The listing automatically becomes an open listing. Option D. The deed becomes void immediately. The correct answer is option A. The ad may fail required brokerage identification standards. Team and salesperson advertising must still comply with responsible broker identification requirements. Tax exemptions are not created by advertising errors. Listing type is determined by agreement, not ad omission. A deed is not voided automatically by an advertisement. Stressed about your California real estate exam? We can take California real estate exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. Why is continuing education required for California license renewal for NIA in Irvine? Option A. It replaces the original license examination. Option B. It helps licensees stay current with law, ethics, agency, fair housing, and practice obligations. Option C. It guarantees every transaction will close. Option D. It allows licensees to ignore supervision. The correct answer is option B. It helps licensees stay current with law, ethics, agency, fair housing, and practice obligations. Continuing education supports ongoing competence and renewal compliance. The original licensing exam is not replaced retroactively. Education cannot guarantee transaction outcomes. Supervision duties remain even after continuing education. Question 20. Why is honesty on a license application important for Silas in Modesto? Option A. Only property managers must be truthful. Option B. Honesty matters only after a first sale closes. Option C. False or incomplete answers can affect license issuance or discipline. Option D. Application answers are never reviewed. The correct answer is option C. False or incomplete answers can affect license issuance or discipline. Applicants must be honest and truthful because the licensing process evaluates fitness and qualifications. Truthfulness applies broadly to license applicants and licensees. The duty does not begin only after a sale. Applications are subject to review. Question 21. Why might rental restrictions in HOA documents matter to an investor for Clara in Fresno? Option A. They require the investor to become an appraiser. Option B. They set the federal tax rate. Option C. They make title insurance illegal. Option D. They may limit leasing plans and affect expected income use. The correct answer is option D. They may limit leasing plans and affect expected income use. Rental limits can directly affect an investor's ability to lease the property and earn income. Owning rental property does not require becoming an appraiser. Federal tax rates are not set by HOA documents. Title insurance remains lawful and separate. Question 22. A tenant is wrongfully deprived of possession or essential use of a rental farm parcel. Which concept may be involved for PREA in Anaheim? Option A. Constructive eviction or breach of quiet enjoyment depending on facts. Option B. Accretion. Option C. Deed reconveyance. Option D. Loan subordination. The correct answer is option A. Constructive eviction or breach of quiet enjoyment depending on facts. Tenant remedies may arise when a landlord substantially interferes with possession or habitability. Accretion concerns natural land buildup. Reconveyance releases a deed of trust after payoff. Subordination changes lien priority. Question 23. How does a lot minus and minus block description identify a residential rental for Ethan in Monterey? Option A. By the broker's commission agreement. Option B. By reference to a recorded subdivision map or plat. Option C. By the tenant's security deposit. Option D. By the borrower's credit score. The correct answer is option B, by reference to a recorded subdivision map or plat. Lot minus and minus block descriptions rely on recorded subdivision maps to identify parcels. Commission agreements do not define parcel boundaries. Security deposits are landlord minus tenant funds. Credit scores relate to financing. Question 24. A borrower asks whether a prepayment penalty exists. Why is the answer important for Asha in San Diego? Option A. It gives the broker title to the property. Option B. It changes the property's zoning district. Option C. It can affect the cost of paying off or refinancing the loan early. Option D. It determines whether the deed is valid. The correct answer is option C. It can affect the cost of paying off or refinancing the loan early. Prepayment terms can materially affect a borrower's future financial flexibility. A broker does not gain title because of a prepayment clause. Zoning is a land minus use matter. Deed validity is separate from loan prepayment terms. Question 25. A buyer receives a closing credit from the seller. What is the main effect for Darius in Bakersfield? Option A. It transfers the seller's license to the buyer. Option B. It changes the property into personal property. Option C. It voids all inspection reports. Option D. It reduces the buyer's cash needed at settlement subject to contract and loan rules. The correct answer is option D. It reduces the buyer's cash needed at settlement subject to contract and loan rules. A seller credit can offset buyer closing costs or other agreed items within legal and lender limits. Real estate licenses are not transferred through credits. Property classification is not changed by a credit. Inspection reports remain relevant despite settlement credits.